Minister, on several occasions you've expressed concern that some campaigning NGOs have a disproportionate influence on government policy, and you've argued that some of these groups are clearly out of touch with public sentiment, such as during the recent referendums, and these groups are of course funded by various government departments and state agencies to the tune of more than €6 billion every year. So now, of course, many NGOs do good work, everybody accepts that, but putting those aside, my question is, now that the total budget has been allocated, will you be pushing at the cabinet table to cut funding to some of these unrepresentative activist groups, or doing anything tangible about those concerns you've expressed?
Well, thanks, Ben, and I appreciate the question. First of all, I think what we have done as a government is we've got back to nuts and bolts, really trying to improve the quality of life of people, trying to ensure that we have a strong economy that's rewarding enterprise, and to ensure that we have as many people as work. And I think government's business is really focused on that now, and that was a significant turn in the dial, which I think is very important and very welcome, and that's what we really need to focus on now. I think it's important that you have a sector that is challenged, because, you know, in relation to the boat referendum that you referred to, it is very clear that many of the sectors that were advocating were significantly out of kilter with what ordinary people and ordinary families were thinking at that particular point in time, and absolutely that needs to be looked at. And any NGO that receives money from the state also needs to be challenged. I'm very firm in my belief in that. Are they represent the people that they espouse to represent? And we can see the landscape is littered with NGOs and representatives that unfortunately sometimes don't, and the people have voted on that and are very clear on it. I was a former Minister for European Affairs and know, going around Europe, that it is very essential too that you have a healthy sector, but that it is also challenged. And we as a society have a job, and so as government, to do that and to hold everyone account right across the economy. But I really welcome, when I get up in the morning, the first thing I am thinking about now is how can I improve the conditions businesses operate on, how can I support family businesses, and how can I improve the lives of people and put money by for the future of our country that will make it more competitive. And every single day I'll keep doing that.
Just on the same question, because obviously without naming any individual organisations, some of these groups have receive almost all of their funding from the state, and they campaign for various issues which may have more or less public support. As I say, would you be willing, or do you intend to go to the cabinet table and argue we need to start thinking about reassessing how much funding we give to various organisations of this kind, again putting aside the ones that do good work that we all acknowledge? Yeah,
well, you're very much aware I have raised it in the past, and I think it's very important that we continue to do that. As I said, we need a healthy sector. I'm in no way saying that funding should be pulled from all NGOs, but we need to forensically look at, you know, what people are doing that are getting government money. And we all know the challenges we have in trying to ensure money is spent properly in this economy and ensure we're getting value for money, which is a very important focus. And that's one of the key areas of mine.
I'm very sorry to interrupt. No disrespect, Minister, but I guess what I'm asking is, are we going to see something tangible coming out of this, or am I going to ask you about this again in 6 months?
You may be asking me, God knows where we'll be in 6 months' time. You may be asking me again. You may not, you never know. But obviously it's important to keep raising. I don't have direct responsibility under my department in this area, but absolutely it's an area I'm happy to raise. And as I said, and I did say when interviewed after boat referenda, that essentially many groups were significantly out of kilter, and that's my firm belief.